Hi, I'm Professor Elizabeth Boals. I'm the new director of the Center for Excellence in Advocacy. So my background started as a public defender. I did that for a number of years and switched over to private practice and ultimately as a lawyer for the Department of Commerce. My background includes criminal defense work, plaintiffs' work in the federal and state courts, as well as civil litigation, Fair Labor Standards Act cases, as well as Title VII actions. So it's sort of a mixed bag. I spent the last 15 years as an academic at American University Washington College of Law as their Associate Director of Trial Advocacy. So the students, I've been watching Stetson students for 15 years at competitions. I've seen how polished they are, they're great advocates. And I think that's where it started. I also have a good relationship with past directors of the center. I know what sort of resources and efforts and supports for the national trial ad community that Stetson has and gives. So I've been watching for years, and that was my first initial draw. But I will tell you, when I went through the application process, I met your faculty and was impressed across the board with how welcoming and how interested they were in advocacy and how supportive. So for me, it was a combination of the two. On the national front, advocacy programs are changing. It used to be that an advocacy program, for the most part, took a back seat to other programs at school. Stetson was a little different. Stetson supported advocacy before other schools did. But on a national level, that wasn't the case. They were sort of backseat programs, not well funded, not well supported. That's changing. The national community now for trial advocacy is a close one. It has hundreds of members. We now have a national organization, which was unheard of in the past. And that national organization is bringing the community together, but also making it more public. So programs have to think about PR now. They have to think about reputation, not just through competition teams, but through the programs that they sponsor, through their academic endeavors, their publications. It's a very different environment than we were dealing with even just a few years back. Well, I hope to bring some of those changes that are happening nationally back home to Stetson. So interactions with the national organization are essential. We have to be engaged in the national community. It's not enough to just send our good students out to compete in advocacy competitions. We have to engage in conferences, in publication, in PR, in ways that we just haven't had to do in the past. So I'm hoping to really focus sort of the next few years on breadth and depth of courses that we're offering, making sure that we are engaged in that national community, that we are out there on many fronts, not just at competition teams, and that we're supporting our competition teams, that we continue to be high achievers in that area. It's wonderful for the national community to see our students in action. It's also essential for our students. So I do believe that trial team, moot court, DR, all those competition teams are essential to their education and producing professional and well-rounded students, student advocates and advocates when they graduate. So that's where we hope to go in the future. Yes, absolutely. Do we want your involvement? Yes, absolutely. There's no way to run a trial advocacy program of this size, of this breadth, without alumni engagement. We rely on alumni for a number of things, and I'd like to institutionalize our outreach to alumni and their engagement in a way that makes it easier for alums and easier for us to take advantage of them. So I think the ways, if I'm just going to list them, obviously as adjunct teachers, if that's possible, coaches, mooters, people who our teams can appear before. Now that we've seen what we can do on Zoom, so much more engagement with alumni is possible. I'd love to have alumni involved in judging competitions. All of those things are possibilities. Also, just idea generation. You can always email the Advocacy Center at advocacy@law.stetson.edu with ideas, with thoughts, those sorts of things. There are multiple people checking that email, and we'll bring them forward to staff meetings and think about them. So yes, alumni engagement is something we definitely want moving forward. Evidence. Sunrise. Sunrise for me, absolutely. I'm a morning person, up before the sun. By sunset, I don't have a whole lot left. So for me, the sunrise is the absolute best.